introduce Maxey. He is a licensed professional counselor. He was personally trained in IABC by Dr. Vodkin. He also does a technique called EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It was discovered at IABC. He has 30 years of counseling. He specializes in group counseling. So to get us started this morning, please help me welcome Maxey.
Well, I didn't have 30 years of counseling, but actually we'll talk about what some of those funny letters mean here after a while. But my main claim to fame is that I squire Shannon around from place to place. We started our practice together in 1999 as kind of I guess holistic is kind of a word that gets beaten about a lot these days, but I really do think that in terms of counseling, she's been invaluable to me, helping people understand the nature of particularly grief that they're going through, that it's not something that tries to help you forget about the past, but it's actually a process that you go through so that you can complete a relationship in the future with somebody. Grief is kind of a portal, if you want to call it that, from one phase of your relationship to another. Otherwise, I don't know why people would want to do any grieving. You know, it's like, okay, well, then you get to forget about the person that you love very much, or you get to put it, stuff it way down inside of you. This whole anger or resentment or whatever you had with the person who passed. And I can tell you, as a counselor, that doesn't work. It really doesn't. So she's been very helpful to me. And interestingly enough, there's been a lot of times when people have come for a discernment and they haven't done any work on grieving. And it doesn't seem to be nearly as helpful to them. It's like, yeah, okay, I know they're still there, but there's just a lot of emotion that is blocking any kind of resolution for them. But anyway, we're a pretty good team. She's a medium, I'm an extra large, so we can and we have been together for a long time. So sweetie, why don't you come up here and start welcoming these all people. This is my wife, Shannon Maxey.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out on such a beautiful day. My goodness, I wish we could just move this whole thing right outside. Isn't it lovely? Okay, where do I start? I'm a psychic medium. I work with people who are grieving. If you want to talk to someone just for the fun of it, you think that might be interesting, I'm not the lady for you. If you have unresolved issues, if you're having difficulty working through your grief, unfinished business, that's the same thing as unresolved issues, I guess. I'm a very good person to talk to with. When I do private sessions in our office or over the phone, because I do work with people across the country, they don't always fly in, which I'm glad about because that makes me nervous. You're going to be flying in from Atlanta. I could do this over the phone, really. So, when we do it at the office or over the phone, the first 15 minutes of the session is what I call the 15-minute option. Basically, if you do not feel like I'm accurate, I'm helpful, I'm connecting, if you don't like the carpet in my office, if you don't like the drapes, they're kind of new, I kind of like them, you might like them too. Whatever reason, you can stop the session, no charge, no hard feelings, we gave it a try. Two reasons I do this. One is I can't guarantee who's going to come through for you. And if we start hearing from other people that you don't want to hear from, I don't feel very good about taking your money and you not getting what you came for. The other reason is that if I'm unable to connect with someone. Now, there have been a couple of times where that has happened. I actually connected for someone that the person didn't want to talk to, and I said, well, I really think if we keep going with this, we'll get to the person you want to talk to, and we can use the whole 15 minutes for that. And she said, no, I just want to stop. She didn't even want to have 5 minutes of hearing from this one person. Totally respect it, completely understand it. Very nice to meet you. And thanks for giving it a try. So I'm not 100%. I will never say I'm 100%. I will always say I want to be 100%. Graham's going to pass out a blank notepad so you can take notes, because this will be on the web later and you can look at it if you get read today. But you might want to take some notes home with you, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get it up on the website. Just to show of hands, how many of you have seen any of the website of me? Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Joan. Okay. Some of you I know, some of you I've just met, and most of you I don't think I've met before. So before we start, any questions about mediumship or communicating with the other side, or how that can help you? Just raise your hand. Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a very unusual question.
You want to ask me an unusual question?
With animals, do they have any, animals like dogs that you have now? Is there anything connected with the other side?
Do animals like dogs that are living now have a connection to the other side? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes I feel like, I've heard you a number of times, but I don't remember your talking. Sometimes I feel like I have 2 dogs and a cat. That one particular dog, it seems to me like, and I don't know if this is stuff here or not, that it's trying to communicate with me some way, like, and you think that is so?
So you're talking about a living dog communicating with you as if it were a person who couldn't speak?
Like connecting me with the other side.
Oh, helping you connect with the other side?
Yeah.
Okay. I absolutely have experienced both. I have had animals, and I've had clients that have had animals where actually in the discernment, one lady, her dog had passed, and we heard a whole lot from her dog and a little bit from her grandfather. The dog had a whole lot to say, talked about things. You would be so surprised how much dogs pay attention to things. I have cats, they pay attention to things too, but they're usually sleeping while they're doing it. So, but also, so that dog talked a lot while he was on the other side, and then we heard from the grandfather. I had had a cat pass, and I had another cat at the same time that was still living. And I felt like the living cat would let me know when the cat that had recently passed was around, and it would cause me to kind of start to pay attention.
Well, what I meant basically, in just 30 seconds, is that like I have cancer, and a lot of times I'm in pain, like, and I have fibromyalgia, and sometimes, this one particular dog, when I have a lot of pain, seems to, in my mind, kind of make me feel better, and knows when I'm not feeling well, and up here I kind of feel like that maybe it's a connection on the other side. I don't know if that's...
I think you're onto something. For those of you that can't hear, the gentleman says he has cancer. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. My best friend died of cancer in December, and I have many, many more friends that have survived it. So keep going.
Thank you.
And I feel like they know we're in pain. I actually heard, you also mentioned you've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I've heard of a help dog, like people have dogs for, I'm trying to think of epilepsy. Also, it's not just seeing eyes, like they have a socialization problem, helping dogs like that. They're now training dogs, or at least I've seen one, that actually lets the owner know, okay, it's time for you to lie down, you're about to have one of those, when it hits you womp, and you're just like, whoa, I've got to lie down. So I absolutely believe that you're getting, I don't feel like it's in your imagination. If you feel like it's helpful to you, then don't feel like it's your imagination, and we won't tell anybody. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Would you mind stepping up to the mic so they can hear you? I appreciate it. Talks off the carry big stick. What's that? Talks off the carry big stick.
I was wondering, can you see the other side of the visual messages? Because just recently, yesterday, I got a shower and on the mirror was, I love you. And my husband didn't do it, and no one else. So I'm curious, can they do that?
I believe they can.
Even like it's like written in soap?
Yeah, I believe they can. I believe they can. I have heard many remarkable things. We've had, at least 2 clients, Graham, that got phone calls from the person that passed. I can think of 2 right now. So I'm thinking, if they can use a phone, they can use a bar of soap. Was it iHeart?
No, I love you.
All that now. Wow, they're showing off.
Yeah. Can you tap into who it might be?
I'll give it a try when we're done with the questions. I sure will. Thank you so much for your question. Someone over here had a question?
I just wanted to comment on the gentleman there. They're called therapy dogs. He sounds like he has an untrained one. They are dogs that are trained to be sensitive to things like epilepsy, diabetics. They are also trained in breed. I have a very good friend who takes her dog. The dog is blind and deaf, and she takes it around to nursing homes and hospitals for pet therapy, which is simply touching the dog or petting the dog. The dog is very aware and shows emotion when there is let's say, an unresolved issue.
Yes.
Or the patient is unusually in pain.
Yes.
There are pain dogs that are put out through the New York company. The dogs are trained to assess and inform about pain and pain level.
I've heard of that. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for confirming that. Were you able to hear him, sir?
I did.
Very good. Very good. We went on our honeymoon. We just recently celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary, and we went on our honeymoon 10 years ago, to Orlando, to Walt Disney World, and we took a day to Busch Gardens, and I had to see the Clydesdales. I just had to. My mom actually taught her Mustang to buck and rear, all the things that most people don't do that. My mom was like, yeah, we're going to do this kind of better. She also, when she sees people that have passed on, she sees them solid like you and me. For me, if I were to do that, that would be a little unnerving, and I'd probably run out of the room. I have a better temperament for seeing them manly and hearing them in my head, which you don't really always want to tell everybody you have voices in your head. We were at the Clydesdales, and you get to stand in line, and you can have a picture with the Clydesdale, or you can just stand there and were you allowed to pet? And I just wanted to pet. I didn't need a picture. And so there was this long line of people, and I'm all excited. This is beautiful Clydesdales there, and all of a sudden they wheel up this little girl. Graham, she's in a wheelchair. What do you think?
She has cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy. Her head was turned like this. She had the arms pulled up, and the horse had been very austere, poised, and there to dog. Here I am in all my Clydesdale, Budweiser glory, aren't I hot? Just like that. And as soon as they wheeled up this little girl in a chair, the horse turned and he started to nuzzle her. Tears are just coming out. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't ask for the picture, because I started to cry so hard. My nose gets red. Santa needs Rudolph, and Rudolph isn't available. He can call on me. Oh, it was so touching. That horse knew something was different and was responding to that. So, like this gentleman says, you have a dog, an animal that is responding to you, that loves you very much. It just hasn't been through the training. And I think one reason the training works so well is because it is an innate ability they have. Would you agree?
Yes.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay. If I come to you for a reading, I'll probably ask you to come up to the mic, because we need to have you hear your responses, because you'll probably want to see this on the website, and you'll be able to hear yourself better if you're up at the mic. If you do not want to be read, that's fine with me. Just say, I don't want it. I may have to say just a few things to release the energy. I don't want to be rude to whoever's trying to come through, but do not feel like you have to. Okay? No pressure. If you know something to be a fact, 100%, please respond yes. If you know something to be absolutely wrong, 100% sure, respond no. If you're thinking, gee, that kind of might sound right, or I might not know everything, then say, that might sound right, I might not know that. And Ram will have a pad of paper. If you have someone with you, you can make notes. The person with you can make notes for you, or you'll have it on the videotape on the web. What else do I need to tell you? I think we'll kind of take it from there. Show of hands, how many of you are either already doing this kind of work or would like to do this kind of work? Very good, very good. Okay, we may do something different too. Let me see where I am on time. Okay, give me just a minute. I'm going to see if I can hook it up. Okay, this is interesting. I need to mention that I'm going to be reading for someone here today in the audience, and there will be someone that will watch this on the web, that many, many things will make sense to you. If you would email me and let me know who you are and which person I read for, I would really appreciate it. That would be something very interesting if we do this again. I'm sure everyone would like to know about that. I have found, we did something called IADC, Induced After-Death Communication, and you guys have a flyer on your seat. If you don't want the flyer, you're welcome to leave it. Let's not waste paper. IADC is Induced After-Death Communication, and what Graham does is he works with you to have your own after-death communication. And we did a session where I was at home, he was at the office doing the IADC, and while I was not speaking to or in contact with this client, I taped a discernment for this client while he was doing the IADC. And that found to be very, very interesting. So that's what kind of opened the door for me to realize, oh my gosh, if I can do it that way, then there's probably going to be someone watching this that will recognize some similarities and some readings. Some of the things will be wrong for whoever I read here, and they'll be right for you, and vice versa. Okay, Darren has been calling me. We have not spoken except just hi in there, right?
Correct.
Would you mind stepping up to the mic? Okay. Now, Darren, I don't remember, just yes or no. Did you tell me who you wanted to hear from, just yes or no?
No.
Okay, good man. Give me just a minute. Okay. And then I've got somebody else over here too. So, sometimes I live out these stars. Do I understand correctly that your mom is crossed? I've got a female energy older than you that would be like a mother to you. This is someone that would be nurturing, that you would consider like a mother. You're smiling. So I'm not sure if this is like, I'm not sure yet. I don't want to tell me yes or no. Okay. So I've got her. Now we've spoken, and I know you're not from Texas. You have an accent.
That's correct.
Are you? Just so that people can hear your accent, say, I am from, is it England?
I'm from England originally.
Originally, okay, and then transplanted over here?
20 years.
Wow, and kept the accent. Yeah, because
A little bit, there's some of it still.
oh, my accent. And the people on the web want you to turn around because he's good. Okay, so I've got older mom. So we can go through this real quickly. I would not do this in a private session. Just a relationship to you. Who would you want to hear from?
Probably my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the person that feels like mom is his stepmom or grandmother?
Okay.
And this person is in spirit. So do you have a stepmother in spirit?
Grandmother.
Okay, it'd be the grandmother, it'd be the mom. Okay. And is that the mother to your dad or your mother?
That could be both.
Okay, the one that felt more like mom, isn't that on mom's side?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, because she's going
Yeah,
over to mom's side.
Yeah.
Okay. And at first I was confused because then your other grandmother passed too, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so this might be confusing for y'all, but your grandmother on your mother's side is bringing through your dad. And he's talking about wow, this is going to be really interesting because we have so many interesting differences in our language. You speak English, we speak American, although some people would say we speak English, we don't know what the heck you're speaking. He's showing me Eddie Izzard. Are you familiar with the comedian Eddie Izzard?
No.
Okay, well, he's hysterical. Everyone should go out and watch Eddie Izzard. He's absolutely, he's absolutely hysterical. So do you recognize the name Eddie or Evan? Could be living or could be crossed.
No.
Okay. Your dad is saying, he's saying Eddie.
Okay.
I don't know, it could be a version of Eddie, like Edward, but he's saying Eddie. And he's saying that there's someone with him that crosses with issues related to, okay, I'm confused. I mean, it's like two overlapping things. I can't tell if this is him telling me he crosses with heart-related issues, and there's someone else that crosses with heart or lung-related issues, because the two can get very connected. Do you understand the heart-related issue connected to your dad's passing? Yes or no? Lungs.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but there's something with the heart. I'm trying to figure out what that is, because he went.
Did you want to apologize because he didn't have one?
We were getting to that. He's laughing. He says that along with not having a heart, he wasn't a particularly funny fellow, and his sense of humor was like that. My dad is a very funny man, thank goodness. And I think this is a hysterical saying. My dad always says this, nobody ever laughs, so don't worry if you don't, you won't hurt my feelings. But my dad says people without a sense of humor aren't very funny. See, you kind of understand here. Do you understand correctly you have a brother living?
No.
Brother-in-law?
Yes.
And did he get to meet this brother-in-law while he was living?
Yes.
And did he favor him over you?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, what?
That's good.
Yes, wow, that's good. Okay, because it's like, well, I have a son that I am, he says, in life, wow, I'm getting chills, proud, fond of, love,
Yeah.
it's him. And he says, okay, he says, I'm an idiot. He says, yes, he is apologizing. Yes, he is apologizing. Do you understand correctly that your, so that would be your sister's husband? Okay. Do you understand they have children? Like more than one?
Yeah.
And he got to be here for at least one of those births? Okay.
Yeah.
Just yes or no, at
Yes.
least one, because
Yeah.
let him try and give me more. And he's telling me, I know you're Darren, he's telling me to acknowledge Jonathan and Charles. Now, I very rarely get Jonathan. So, this could be people that are connected to you living.
Yeah.
So, do you recognize the name Jonathan?
No.
He says you met him after you moved to the U.S. And I'm feeling like did you actually, I know this would make sense for a lot of people, but I only got anything that, just because it makes sense. Did you actually come through Ellis, through New York? Is that the way you came through? Or did you come in to the United States when you came over a different place? Just yesterday?
Yeah.
Was it New York?
No.
It wasn't New York? Okay. Just the relationship to you. Who immigrated to the United States via New York? Just the relationship, not the name. Because he's insisting someone had to go through New York and deal with New York. What he's showing me is Ellis Island. He's also talking about that the distance geographically was less than the distance emotionally between you two, and that it started very young for you. And he's giving that as confirmation so that I'm just not some nice lady saying, yeah, he really is saying he's sorry and he's an idiot. Do you recognize the name Charles?
Yes.
Just the relationship to you, who's Charles?
A close friend's father.
Who has passed?
No.
Okay. This close friend, does he have a relationship with Charles like you would have liked to have had with your dad?
Yes.
Okay, that's what that is. I was like, oh, I don't know what the heck you're trying to say. Okay, it's interesting. I think one of the reasons why he might be doing this is he's trying to communicate to me that he was hard to talk to.
Yeah.
And now I want you to know, ooh, big chills. That usually means, Shannon, for me that means, for me, pay attention, and two, this is really important. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other, sometimes it's both. He says that it wasn't just logistics that kept you from being there when he passed. And he's also talking about, do you understand correctly? Okay, I'm confused. It's like, we know he's going to go sometime, but when he went was a surprise. Yes? Okay, because I feel like there's an idea of, this could be happening sometime, but the actual timing of it was like, whoa, I didn't even have a chance to get a plane ticket or anything. Now, did he pass across the pond?
No.
He passed here in the States?
Yes.
Okay. And he's talking about, he wants to know, he understands you're not being there, and he says, that's my fault. He puts the blame for you not being there on him. And he says, he's the one that should be feeling bad about it, Darren, not you. And he says, however, you do feel bad about it. And he says, there's no need. If you want him to forgive you, he says, all is forgiven. And he says, all, and underlines it, big capital letters, all is forgiven. And he also says, if you find it difficult to forgive him, he says, not only does he understand it, because he was not a very forgiving person, but he also recognizes that these things can take time. This induced after-death communication stuff is relatively new, particularly for our area of the country. Dr. Botkin is in Chicago. I think you might find that experience to be really wonderful and very helpful. In fact, I would say, for you personally, I say you should do that before you have a discernment with me privately, because we had talked about when we get together privately. Now you're welcome to, see me together at the booth if you like, and that's fine. But I think the induced after-death communication would be quite helpful for you. It's interesting, he said he had to do a lot of work to get to the place where he is now with his personality. And he said it was hard. Now, do I understand correctly that he was a hard-working man?
Very hard.
Like, just driven.
Yeah.
And now he's saying, as hard as I work in life, I thought in death I'd get a break, and this has been even more difficult. And he says, but I needed to do it, and he's glad he's done it, and he's had help. He's not been alone in this. Now this is interesting. Usually they show me showering someone with rose petals to say I'm showering you with my love. He's not doing that. He's showing me a double rainbow. I have no idea why he'd make the difference, if it makes any sense to you, but he says this is an expression of his love for you. He also says that you knew he would apologize, which surprises me. And I know you said, is he apologizing for not having a heart? It's a good joke. But he says, you knew he would apologize, which is really surprising. That means you've done a lot of work too, which I'm very, very pleased to hear. That's important. He's shown me the sign of Aquarius. Do we have any astrologers in here? Help me with dates.
In January.
And in February?
Early February.
End of January, early February. So be someone born end of January, early February. You don't have to recognize it now, but if you do, let me know. Do you recognize someone born in the sign of Aquarius? There's also a Taurus.
May, like May 5th,
And April, late April, late May.
well, into May.
Okay, his birthday was April 9th.
Okay, no, that's Aries.
Right.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm really sorry, Aries dad. Aries dad. So yeah, you can see this, but I said you were funny. I have to be careful. My parents try to download this stuff, so I don't really watch myself. So your dad is acknowledging the person born under the sign of Taurus, and also the person born under the sign of Aquarius. These could be people that are living, or these could be people that are crossed. When you find out if it's someone that's crossed, they're saying, hey, I'm fine. And if it's someone that's living, they're just wanting to acknowledge that person. Okay, did he get a divorce?
No, but I wish he would.
It's kind of like, I really wasn't, you could tell I wasn't sure about that. I was like, did he get a divorce? And mom's still living, right?
Correct, yeah.
And she has not remarried?
No.
She has not remarried, that's correct. Okay, I just want to make sure. He gives his blessing for her to remarry. I think everyone feels like it would be very helpful to her if she would. But I certainly understand why she might not want to do that again.